Hello YouTube, it is Chris here, and in today's episode I want to talk about something just a little bit interesting. As most of you know in the nation, and a lot of people who follow me on social media regularly, I live in Texas, and we just had to deal with Hurricane Harvey. Now, I live in San Antonio. We had the tropical storm portion of it, the eye, actually come right over San Antonio. However, for whatever reason, we were pretty much spared almost every ounce of wrath Hurricane Harvey unleashed on Texas. I can't really tell you why and how that happened. We should have been completely destroyed. We should have basically posed a very similar fate to a lot of towns barely an hour away from us, and not to mention how bad Houston got it with the extreme amount of flooding they're still dealing with. But that's actually what I want to talk about, is the aftermath of the hurricane. There are a few things that are taking place that are impacting all of the surrounding cities in the entire state in a very, very major way. Shortages all the way around. While Hurricane Harvey was in the Gulf of Mexico as a tropical storm, a lot of the oil companies evac'd a lot of the oil rigs. Most of them were completely evac that were going to be right in the direct path, and that was, I want to say, between 75 and 200 rigs were completely evac'd. So for 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 days, no one was working, and there's no oil being produced and there's nothing being refined, which causes prices to rise. However, due to the fact that no one was working and nothing's getting produced, and there are severe shortages, not only are we getting higher prices, which is causing longer lines at fill-up because people are buying as much gas as they can. Well, unfortunate symptom of that side effect is literally running out of gas way faster because everyone's stockpiling. You see lines out the door, but people are not only filling up their gas tank, but they're also grabbing 6 to 8 to even 10 extra gallons at a time, filling up, and the gas stations in the city, they're not ready for that. They're not ready for all of the people flooding their stations and literally just ransacking it and just taking as much as they can. Another topic that is another side effect of the hurricane that people have to deal with weeks and months after the storm like that takes place are the financial devastation that is affected by all of that. And I want to give my example, and I want to make it very clear that my family relatively got off very easy, and my city got off very easily, so to speak. We had about 5,000 people in the entire city evacuate, but out of 2.25 million people in the metropolitan area, that's like a really, really overcrowded school. There's not that many people actually left. But my family did evacuate due to the fact that they weren't 100% sure where it was going. And since it was coming through Corpus Christi, there was a very strong chance it was going to come ripping and tearing through Victoria and everything like it did, but it was going to come straight through San Antonio and Austin and just wreck us a new one. And that is what it did, but it didn't wreck us a new one. It actually substantially got weaker, and it was very slow. Because it was slow moving, it didn't affect us, but we had already evacuated, because once it was a Category 4, that's not a freight train you want to stand in front of and hope you don't get hit. Being out of work for 2 or 3 days at a time, those are hours that we're losing. So our finances are becoming increasingly finite, but we know for the next couple weeks it's going to be hard because we're going to have to play catch up. And what made it worse is, for the timing of this, the hurricane was actually at the end of the month, where we're having to deal with all of our final end of month bills, rent, things like that. And it was like, this is about the most inconvenient time of the month for a hurricane to decide to hit and us need to evacuate. Not to mention we had to spend money, obviously, at the hotel and buying extra groceries and the gas money and the traveling expenses and everything that were involved. Now, some people are like, wow, quit whining, your family's fine and your house isn't destroyed. Yeah, no, I get that completely, and I feel 4,000% blessed. That's not what I'm here. I'm not here really whining about anything. I'm just trying to say that it cost my family hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and we got off easy. Like super easy as an evacuee. The people that are in the other more affected areas are completely screwed. I don't even know how they deal. I want to kind of bring awareness and some food for thought for my viewers that are watching this video. Having the gear and even having survival skills are great, But having financial awareness and having other types of preps for things like a hurricane or whatever possible natural disasters you could face in your area is very, very, very important. It's not just wilderness bug out or some urban zombie apocalypse. Hurricanes, wildfires, earthquakes, bad winter storms, power outages, things like that are very, very, very real SHTF situations that happen all the time. Now, as my rolling clips that I have kind of die out and you kind of see the gear on the table, I'm working on some other future videos that we're going to be presenting on the channel. But a few things that I want to touch on also are some holes that we found in our preps and for bugging in and bugging out. And I kind of touched that on some live videos that we made. But in regards to my everyday carry, which are some items that you see in front of you and some things that we're going to be testing and messing with, and I'm not going to touch on that too much. However, the fact of the matter is weight. I noticed that having to lug and carry things around like your bug out bags and everything, and keep in mind, all we had to do was go from the apartment to the vehicle, then travel, and then go from the vehicle to the hotel. Now, that's incredibly manageable. It's not that big of a deal, but I was thinking, wow, what if this was like a wilderness situation? Would I really want to be lugging around a 30 to 45 pound pack? Because I had a bug out bag ready. I always have one ready. But with a hurricane, there was a lot of stress and panic involved due to the fact that I grew up in that kind of environment. So there was a little bit of extra fear and anxiety on my end, and I'm not ashamed to admit that, and I'm totally okay with that. So with that said, I kind of packed a little bit extra, and I kind of loaded us down a little bit, which ended up being a little bit of a hindrance. So try to stay focused if you're having an emergency, and by practicing your preps, experimenting with your bags, carrying your bags, and doing a lot of things to get yourself ready before an event like that can prevent you from hopefully overreacting like I noticed that I did. I brought a whole bunch of mess that would potentially, possibly, hypothetically be useful, but didn't actually end up coming to fruition and being needed in that situation. And I realized even if things like that happened, or I needed some extra gear or whatever it was, or some extra items or provisions, I did kind of go overboard and bring just a little too much. I was ready for basically bugging in the hotel for like 4 months on just because I overreacted. And I'm human, I make mistakes, and I'm here to learn and try to present the things that I learn and share it with you guys. So hopefully you guys can learn from things that I'm trying to share, and hopefully avoid some of the mistakes that I'll end up inevitably be making on my channel. I make quite a few mistakes in testing, and some things that I say and information that I present to you guys. So hopefully we can take all of that stuff with a grain of salt, and we all kind of learn and grow together. So finally, a couple things that I could suggest that you guys have ready for the before, during, and after something such as a hurricane, since that is a very relevant topic for my particular state, is have a way, if you bug in or bug out, to handle human waste effectively. Having a couple extra rolls of toilet paper, having things like the toilet paper tabs that I had in a previous video. It was also mentioned on Canadian Preppers video, which was wildly popular. And also have a way to handle human waste if you have to bug in. Have wipes and other things to keep yourself hygienic and clean if you bug in. But if you don't have running water and plumbing and just wasting water that is very finite down in the back of the toilet to keep it flushing, if that's not going to work, have an ability to have basically a porta potty with a 5-gallon bucket, a trash can. You can even use the pool noodles as a cushion so your butt doesn't hurt so much. And also run drills with your family. That's extremely important to make sure that you're ready to go. Typically my family and I, when we do bi-weekly drills, we will grab our bug out bags, we will get everything we need, we'll get our dog Bella, we'll get everything kind of rolling in, we'll go downstairs, and our goal is to be out in 15 minutes or less. Just to be out, and we usually don't go more than 3 or 4 miles out. Sometimes it's just a trip to Walmart, let the boys walk around to kind of de-stress by going down the toy aisle and the outdoor aisle and everything, just to kind of, because we purposely hype up the adrenaline on purpose and really push ourselves really hard, even for the drills, because we want to pretend it is real world, even though it's not. It's just good practice to keep yourself ready and motivated. Also, make sure that your funds and your finances are in order. Make sure that you're taking personal responsibility for your finances. That is a hole that we found, that we are improving, we are getting better, but we did find ourselves like, oh crap, this was like really expensive, and if I don't get some help, if I don't find a way to clear this thing up, we're gonna be hurting. And also, like with shortages on food, shortages on water, shortages on electricity, and shortages on things like gasoline. During natural disasters, if they are really effective and really, really big, certain areas that you live in the country, these are very real possibilities. So try to plan in the aftermath of a natural disaster to have those things ready and prepared. I know there's a few people that may pop down in the comments and go, well, I'm ready, you know, you should have been better prepared. And they're probably right, I should have been. But luckily for me, this ended up being a very real world bug out drill on my end. And I had the very fortunate ability to now be able to think back safely and realize what I did right, what we could have improved on a little bit, and what we did drastically wrong to make sure that if we run through a situation like this again, it's a more well-oiled machine and we don't run into those same mistakes again. However, that just about does it for now. If you enjoyed this talking point in the aftermath video for Hurricane Harvey, definitely give this video a big thumbs up and share this out with your friends and family in your social media networks so we can keep growing, thriving, and making awesome videos for you guys. But that just about does it for now. Hope you guys have an absolute wonderful day. I'm out.